Wazam, everybody. Welcome back to the next episode of Sports Talk with a Lions fan. It is me, your boy, you already know. Thank everybody who watched the last one. Goddamn, a whole lot less of y'all than the first one, but whatever. Welcome back if you're gonna come check us out. Gonna look at this free agency stuff so far, man. Giving this to y'all on that Thirsty Thursday. Thank y'all to Professor Kurt Steele. That's a moniker he created for whatever reason. But check him out and ask him why he did that. How about that? Hop down in the comments and ask Professor Kurt Steele why he coined the term Thirsty Thursday. But starting out, we just gonna look at some of that free agent action so far, man, at the beginning of this 2026 NFL free agent period. But first, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like if you like what I'm saying. So, free agency kicked off, kind of decently for the Detroit Lions, in my opinion. We had some key departures from last season and everything like that. Taylor Decker requested his release and was granted it. And starting center from last year, Graham Glasgow, retired. So, peace out to those two men. For Graham Glasgow, kind of, but, that's how it goes. But, of course, with those departures, that leaves, sizable holes in the offensive line that, your boy Brad Holmes has to figure out how to fill them. Some other departures were starting linebacker Alex Anzelone. He signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a 2-year, $17 million deal. Starting cornerback Amik Robertson. Starting cornerback Amik Robertson signed with the Washington Commanders on a 2-year deal, worth $16 million. Kalif Raymond, special team All-Pro, long tenured Detroit Lion. Shout out to the guy, God bless the dead. That main Jim, that was his guy. Shout out to Lil Leaf. He signed a 1-year deal with the Indiana Bears, because they're not even in Chicago. Well, they're not about to be in Chicago no more. Rotational defensive lineman Roy Lopez, who was a fan favorite, and that fan being me. I liked Roy Lopez. He did a whole lot for us last year. You saw him, batting balls down and pushing people around. Man, he had them. He had his hands in people's chests all year last year. Man, he played real well for us. Sad to see him go. And last but not least, it was backup quarterback Kyle Allen. He signed with the Buffalo Bills on a 2-year deal. I didn't get any money on that one. But the main reason why I mentioned those, the amount of those deals is there wasn't a whole lot, but it was, I guess, a little bit more than what the Lions were going to give them. Shout out to my guy, owner of the Michigan Arrows, Coach Mike Jones. He had broke down eloquently over on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast just how, I'll say, cost effective or cost conscious Brad Holmes can be sometimes. And that's just talking about the Carlton Davis and the DJ Reed deals. The total value is less than $2 million difference or something like that. Or if we break down to $2 million less a year or whatever it was. And that's, just for, DJ Reed is good in his own right, but, respectfully, Carlton Davis was good in his own right. But, one of them ended up playing the Super Bowl, and one of them ended up having hamstring injuries and watching the Super Bowl. As far as the signings went, the big news on the first day of the free agent tampering period on Monday was the Detroit Lions came to a deal with, or agreement on a deal with, starting center from the Carolina Panthers, Cade Mays. This gentleman goes 6'6", 320 some odd pounds. I didn't know he was that big. The rap on this guy is he's just really good. Like the guy on all 22 kept repeating it, and he described this guy as he doesn't try to hit home runs. He's a good single and double hitter, meaning he knows how to, he doesn't overdo it, I suppose. From what I can see, he is great in health. That's a part of the center's responsibilities anyway. But yeah, just from everything that I've heard and seen and read about this guy, that is his thing. So you know what that means, right? Yep, you guessed it. A whole lot of duo on your head top. So this guy, and he plays with some physicality as well. He ain't no chump in the middle. So I feel like that's exactly what we need. Another thing that I heard and read about this guy is he's he's clean. He knows what he's doing, and a sign of that is very low penalties. He has had very few penalties over his entire career. I think that is excellent. That shows, just his, just how good of a player that he can be. A former sixth rounder as well. So, it just shows his development and, ability to, become a starter and hold a starting spot and get another contract with another team. This may be a real good piece for Hank Fraley to whip, or I don't want to say whip into shape, but, help him to become the best player that he could possibly be. Maybe on the lines of maybe a Pro Bowler or something like that. Of course, the high end. Maybe possibly an All-Pro. I don't know, but we shall see about that. The Detroit Lions also signed former Kansas City Chief running back Isaiah Pacheco. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, and I guess you would call him a power back. He isn't necessarily that heavy. He's less than 220 pounds, but boy oh boy does he run hard. He runs just like this. He runs so hard he don't really run like he look forward. And actually, I gotta take that back. That was a joke that I was making on Tuesday when the news came out that he was signed. I was telling everybody he run like that, but then I seen some stuff and no, he don't run like that at all. He actually runs a little bit better than what I thought he did. I know he runs extremely hard, but the image that's burned in my head is that viral. I don't know if it ain't a meme, but that thing where I don't know what the hell he doing. It's some kind of drill. But yeah, I can't be doing that here. So Scotty Montgomery and whoever else, don't have that guy doing none of that kind of stuff. We don't want to see none of that over here. But I think I don't think he's the player that David Montgomery was. I don't think he's the running back that David Montgomery was, but he is still a running back. He's his own running back in his own right. I think it'll help us all out a whole lot if we look at this not as a David Montgomery replacement, but as us just signing another running back. And I think Isaiah Pacheco fit right on in. Also on Tuesday, another a deal that was agreed upon was with 5-year veteran offensive lineman Larry Borom. This gentleman is actually from Michigan, and he played high school football over at Brother Rice. So, welcome this guy on in. I don't expect him to be anything much more than a depth piece. It's a depth signing, I believe. This is, if you want to look at it that way, this is the replacement for Dan Skipper. So at least that's what I hope. I don't think this gentleman should be sniffing a starting spot, especially with players like Miles Frazier on the roster. I've spoken about this gentleman all off season. And a whole lot over there on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, but I feel like this guy gets lost in the wash. Why not Miles Frazier? Nobody can ever give me a reason why. When we saw him play, he played pretty darn good. He played at guard though, but he's shown the ability to earn all conference honors at left tackle. So that was in college and that was as a freshman. I believe he has the ability to at least play one of the tackles. If the goal is to move Penei Sewell to the left tackle, which probably should happen, then I have no doubt in my mind that Miles Frazier can definitely step in and play that right tackle position. Speaking about this offensive line shuffle, that's the biggest thing and the best thing, or one of the best things about signing Cade Mays. He's going to put all of the rest of the pieces into place. All of the things we kept, a lot of people were questioning who would land where, what, how it was going to all shake out. Of course, we don't know that wholly now, but we have a better picture of it all. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the goal is to move Penei to left. You already got a starting left guard, and that's Big Strebo, Christian Mahogany. Now you have a starting center, Cade Mays. You got your right guard who doesn't have to move and he can continue on because he looked pretty darn good last year when he wasn't breakdancing on his head and sideways and shit. And that's the sweet mullet, Tate Ratledge, and then you can have that main Frazier boy playing right tackle. I don't see an issue with that, and I hope that is the plan, or at least part of the plan, or at least trying to figure out if those guys can play together. Along with those signing the new players, we kept a few of our own. We brought back versatile defensive back Rock Ya-Sin on a 1-year deal. We brought back Teddy Two Gloves, everybody's favorite backup quarterback, is back in Detroit for a little while. Malcolm Rodriguez came back after that injury on a 1-year deal. That's pretty big, especially after losing Alex Anzelone. Of course, they do not play the same play style at all, but they do play the same position. They do still play linebackers, and a big job of that, or a big part of that role, is tackling people, and that is one thing that Malcolm Rodriguez can do. He'll slap the hell out you. We also brought back running back Jacob Saylors, interior offensive lineman Michael Niese, and cornerback Nick Whiteside on tenured deals. So welcome back to those guys, and hopefully those guys get more opportunity this year. It should be lots of opportunity, especially for Nick Whiteside. I want to see him get lots of, and excuse me, and for Jacob Saylors. Shoot, Kirk Carter last year, he thought that if Craig Reynolds or if Jacob Saylors, sorry, he thought that if Jacob Saylors could have been in camp the whole year, he would have replaced Craig Reynolds earlier. So, and we end up seeing Craig Reynolds be released and sign with the Patriots toward the end of last year. So, yeah, but again, I would like to see those two gentlemen, Nick Whiteside and Jacob Saylors, get at least some expanded roles now that there's holes in the positions that they both play. All right, y'all. Well, to wrap this thing on up, we're going to look at that Maxx Crosby situation. That's the big news, and I've kind of talked about it a couple times so far. But if you're a football fan, unless you've been hiding someplace, you already know a lot of what's going on here. Maxx Crosby was traded, or had agreed to be traded to the Baltimore Ravens. The Raiders and the Ravens had came to agreement with just 2 first-round picks. And this morning, they had changed their mind. The Ravens backed out of the deal. They canceled that trade due to medical concerns, allegedly. Per everybody out there, all of the teams that called about Maxx Crosby had the medicals. They understood that he recently had knee surgery back in January on a meniscus repair, and that's one of the ones where it's not necessarily as bad at all. Like Russell Westbrook a few years ago played on a cracked meniscus. He ended up having surgery eventually, but that's one of those things. Is not the worst one. Like, that's not the knee ligament that's going to end anything for you. Just going have you hurting in the cold and the rain for a while. But again, everybody that called about this guy knew what was going on and knew that he was in recovery. So with all that being said, they knew he wasn't going to pass a physical, and they still had initially agreed to that trade. And again, they just backed out of it. It's a lot of layers to this thing. It get real crazy and messy and make Baltimore look like some messy hoes. But allegedly, the Ravens held the contract negotiations with Trey Hendrickson while Maxx Crosby was at the facility yesterday. So maybe they'll give some truth to the theory that they were trying to sign them both. I don't think so. I think that's just some bullshit. And my light just went out. But I think that's $1,000 worth of bullshit. Per Sadiq Creates, if I'm saying that right, on Twitter, he said the Ravens canceled 28-year-old Maxx Crosby trade due to failed physical after knee surgery. And then they immediately signed 31-year-old Trey Hendrickson after hip surgery. So, it's who knows, man, who knows. And the tricky thing about Baltimore is I don't want to say they have a history of this, but they've done some shit like this before. The most notable everybody's talking about a few years ago with Ryan Grant and Michael Crabtree. They had agreed to a whatever deal with Ryan Grant. Shortly after that, once Michael Crabtree became available, they canceled that trade, and they said that he didn't pass a physical with an ankle injury or something like that. And the part that gets real tricky about that is allegedly Ryan Grant hadn't missed a game in his NFL career up to that point due to injury. So I don't know. It was something else tricky in Baltimore with Elvis Dumerville and the fax machine. It was something ended up happening with Terrell Owens as well. So I really don't know, man. It just sounds like, at least per Twitter, Baltimore is acting like some Baltimore people, to keep it clean. I haven't seen anything saying that the Raiders still want to move Maxx, and it's reports that he's back in the Raiders facility, still continuing or back at wherever he's at, maybe the Raiders facility, doing his rehab and recovery program. So I don't know, man. If he's still available, I would still give a look-see. I would still give 2 firsts. If if that is what it is. Now, if the medicals actually do show something a little worse than what I'm thinking, because I'm just Torrance and I'm recording in the closet at the house. I don't. Long story short, I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I'm not a doctor, so. But if he actually can play and the medicals do check out and it wasn't just all bullshit by the Baltimore Ravens, yes, I would say give a call for Maxx Crosby, especially since we now have a starting center and things like that, and things just falling into place. Along with that, y'all's friend Jared Goff restructured that deal, bringing his whatever it was, bringing his number down for this season down to like 40 or something like that, allegedly creating $32 million worth of cap space. That still ain't enough in my mind, to do anything worthwhile because we still got to sign the rookie class and everything like that. Beyond that, we still got to sign Captain Jack, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and Brian Branch. So I don't, 32 ain't gonna get it all done, but I think that's just the first move like that. So I know a lot of people were waiting on that, and it was reports saying that the Lions may not want to restructure because if they were to pay the $69 million cap hit for this season, it'd be easier to move off of next season. So I was really looking at that like like a box of popsicles or a box of freeze pops. Like, ooh, maybe that's an option, but it ain't. So he restructured today, creating $32 million allegedly. So shout out to them and getting that done. So hopefully there are some good moves made with that availability. All right, so there's that. Please leave me some comments down in that thing. Again, hit all the buttons. If you like what I was saying, go ahead. If you don't dislike it as well. But at least leave me a message and tell me why you don't like it. But all that being said, y'all have a great one and see you in the next one.